Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucid, and I am joined by Ravzia.
Hello.
And last episode, we had some pretty cool stuff happen. We had some failed expansions, and had quite a few rainbow expanders heading out, doing their
Yeah,
duty.
very brave expansion.
Very brave. Very brave. It's like the water's cold. You're a little worried if you get in too deep, your nuts are going to get cold, and you just jump in anyway. Just go balls deep.
I would not be as brave as some of these people have been.
All right, so we have a message from Michelin. Michelin last episode was concerned about Joman being large. Joman messaged me in Discord to explain their aggression. I know they have an Earth Serpent, so I've got to now figure out how to exploit the Cold-Blooded. Not happy with how close they are. I want that lake system. Interesting, because Michelin is one of the nations that can potentially kick Joman out of the lake.
I'm presuming he took Cold 3 as well, since he does have Chill War.
Right.
On the West.
So that's going to be really tricky for the Earth Serpent.
Although he didn't take the normal amount of strength that a Michelin would take, so he might actually struggle attacking into Joman's dominion against an Earth Serpent.
Yeah, he might not be able to kill it. He can they can tire each other out.
Yeah, especially with no CR.
Right. A message from Abysia. Expansion continues to be much worse than any of my tests. Yeah, welcome to multiplayer.
Yeah, that's what usually happens. Oh, yes, I got 25 consistently. Get into the actual game. Random archer ruins your first expansion party.
Yeah. And the rest of the game after that's just a complete shit show because you don't have enough resources and you got to get another commander and all your troops die in the retreat. Okay, so Bogarus has a temp sub. Sorry if I tread on toes. Bogarus's computer is in pieces in a truck. Yellow Swaggins. All right. So I guess Bogarus's computer not in very good shape. Probably about in the same kind of shape that their expansion is in.
Okay. Well, I mean, hey.
Lossless, what can we say?
Yeah, this is an even smaller province than the last one, I'd like to point out.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, last episode it was 25 or so.
Right.
In this episode, we've degraded all the way down to 20.
Right. So, just one expansion. He totally could have taken these barbs out.
I think so.
Malia Drazina, in sufficient quantity, walloped the shit out of barbs.
Yes. That's a good amount of heavy cav.
Yeah. So we'll see where he goes, but
I would think with that many, he would be focusing on the farmland.
Yeah.
For the extra income.
The problem though is I don't know. I mean, these heart companions will repel the crap out of the Malia Drazina.
Yeah. Slingers versus Void Archers. How do you feel about that impending matchup?
Well, it depends if he's got. If anybody does fire archers, they're gonna win because they'll HP route the army.
HP route, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if like 5 Malia Drazina get around the heart companion.
Right.
That's if they bump. We'll see.
We'll see. It's very likely we have a cool bump coming up. Coming up to Arco. He expanded here. We took a look at this party. No losses.
Yeah, lossless expansion so far. We'll see if that keeps up.
Loses one heart companion over here. We'll watch this one because this is pretty damn clean looking.
I think it's just they're just very good infantry.
Yeah.
And it looks like a prophet's in there as well.
Yeah.
Certainly does not hurt.
Okay. That was very clean. And Arco's probably in the top third of expansion now. I mean, things have really turned around for him. He's he's in the top part of the pack.
Yeah, it's a good mid pack there.
Yeah.
4 nations all at the same number this turn.
Yep. An absolute mountain though of Slingers and Cerulean Warriors. How do you feel about the Cerulean Warriors?
Can we take a look at them real quick?
Yeah, let's pull them up.
Let's see.
So they're expensive in terms of gold.
A little, yeah.
They have good attack skill, 12.
Decent damage. Okay, protection. They're solid. They're really solid.
Yeah.
Can you check hoplites real quick?
I think significantly they're not a lot of resources.
Yeah, he might also be recruitment point capped. I'm not sure. Well, no, probably not. Heart companions aren't as much as I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably just to use the extra gold. Well, they're 5 resources less, but yeah. And they're only 2 gold more, so
yeah,
I could see it.
Okay.
Than the high path.
Yeah, and I mean the 20 hit points is a big deal too. You're gonna have significantly less attrition, so.
Now, much worse attack density.
Right.
But yeah, you get some, you lose some.
Yeah. Okay. So that's cool. So he's building up a huge pile of these. I don't know where he's going to send them, but presumably he's got a target in mind.
Maybe the heavy cav. We'll see.
Oh, this is also a little funny. Like there's a disease site here too. So he definitely probably got 5 dudes diseased.
Hopefully it's all on the slingers.
Right. Okay, so that's that. And Patala.
Also, no losses in expansion.
Very true. Another lossless expansion for Patala.
Every attack, you can't lose troops, right?
Right. Patala has suffered some pretty tough losses in the past.
So it looks like there's one of 2 targets here.
I think he would win against either of the. A wood hinge. Wait, wood hinge are fine. It's the blood hinge you have to worry about. So I think he would take either of these. He could take all of these. It's really this stack should do fine against anything except heavy.
Honestly,
oh my god!
We didn't see it last time, but that's actually a very solid province, right? 4 gems.
Well, this is the rainbow site searcher coming through.
There you go. It's finally paid off.
It's paid off.
Everything else is a miss, but this one?
Yep. Nailed it.
More gem. Probably second in gem income then, right?
Yeah, he's probably right up there now. Let's see. Where's Patala? Okay.
Oh wow, Flegra made big jump there, it looks like.
Woo! Yeah, we'll have to go take a look. But yeah, I think he's positioned to take some moves. This was probably what he recruited in 1 or 2 turns, and then.
Yep. Oh, and war elephants are making a reappearance.
Right.
That should be able to take some of the provinces over by the swamp on the other end if Calum doesn't get there first.
Yeah. It's kind of one of the interesting things in newer player games because people like struggle more with the expansion. Is this like twilight period of the end of expansion can last a really long time? Because like normally there's a pretty small window where you're going to be bumping people. It's usually like turn like 6 to 10 is when you're going to be having your bumps. But in a newer game, you can have bumps going all the way out to like turn 14. It's like
it's turn 9, and I see quite a few gray flags left on the map.
Right.
Quite a few. In fact, Arco and Patala do not have a border yet because there are so many gray flags left.
Yeah. And in like a vet game, you'd have expansion pretty much closing down right now. This would be the last turn or 2 of expansion.
Yes. Maybe a couple of the lakes would be holdouts, but other than that.
Right. Speaking of lakes, let's come over and take a look at... Oh, hello.
Yes, I noticed that there was an indie attack. Here is Mr. Sea King. What is his name?
Vulcan.
Vukan, the Sea King. I had 2 Sea Kings with the same name attack me in a game once.
This is rough.
Yeah, he might be able to kill that with the Earth Snake, actually.
Slashing damage.
22 slashing, but if he has Temper Flesh and maybe a way to get regen on it, it would be very easy, but it might be able to just prot tank. I think I have won a battle where I risked it before, so it might be possible. I don't necessarily think the player would want to risk it,
Yeah, the Earth Snake is over here.
Yep.
In Friendly Dominion, he's got 31. I mean, that should be able to take...
That up to 34 with Iron Skin, right?
Yeah. The problem is he's lit. Oh, he has fear though. Okay.
He does have fear. Yeah.
So with fear,
I think it's doable. Yeah.
These guys have 12 more rounds. Yeah, he would probably only have to tank it for like, I don't know, 15 rounds.
He's gonna be hitting them, and even with their PR, they're gonna take damage. Right?
But you know what? It's a big stack. I know sometimes one guy with fear against a lot of dudes might not be enough. It might still time out.
Well, I think he has enough HP that it'll. Well, they're also low density, which doesn't help the fear aura. Actually.
Right.
Not come to think of it, because they're one per tile.
Yeah, I think there's a decent chance it's still turn timers. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think they're gonna kill. I don't think they're gonna kill it. Not with 22 against 33. He wasn't
making a fort there either, so he can also just wait, and it should be okay.
Yeah, he's making a fort here.
Michelin let him get the palisade up, so
yeah,
that's gonna be harder. And
he did it. He did 25. He was ready to fight.
Yeah,
I like that.
And I believe they have samurai archers, so that would probably not have been very fun for Michelin to walk into. Also not fun for Michelin, standing the Pretender in a wall of pestilence.
Right, we do have Pretender or Capital Recuperation, so
yeah, Melting Cliff.
But oh my god, it's another 4 gems province. 4 gems.
Yeah, the Rainbow Site Searching coming in pretty handy. Despite being late.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Rob. It's been dog shit until this turn. But this turn, or maybe last turn, they had a little bit. It's starting to deliver.
Yeah, if we go back and look at the gem graphs, I saw a lot of people get a lot of value this turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like the gem income on the board just doubled.
One thing I also noticed is that it appears Joman Assassin expanded this turn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is exactly what you're supposed to do. If he's actually looking and reading my guide, he would also... What turn is it?
9.
He's probably got construction 2, and he should be making an underwater ring or armor or whatever for a monk to go make his infrastructure down there.
Nice.
If he is on pace for what he should be doing. I don't know if he actually looked at the guide, but it's pretty much textbook. I mean, I don't know if I would go that close to people's caps when I have other provinces to take, but yeah, he's doing very good.
I mean, I think he's number 1 in income by a margin. Yeah.
Yeah, number 1 in provinces by a margin. So it should follow.
Yeah.
And his dominion doesn't increase on the rest, so there you go.
Right. There you go. So okay, so that's it. We had an assassin expansion. We had the Earth Snake rolling around, but he lost this one. So
probably 2 more provinces next turn though.
Yep.
Looking at it.
Coming down to Agartha. Oh, so Agartha has a pretty badass Titan. Funnily enough, he's been doing animate skeleton before he runs into combat. Like
just to get some extra fatigue.
Right, exactly. Because like he should just run in face tank stuff. Like
Take 48.
He's got effectively versus things without Spirit Sight. He's got 32.
Defense skill.
Yeah.
Who's gonna hit him? I mean, the no armor is always fun because crossbows exist, but the shield's there for that, right?
Right. That's a good point. I hadn't really thought about that, but he might have figured that out in testing. Like, hey, we kind of need a shield.
Yeah, it looks like. Oh, is that the unseen or invisible effect? Because it looked like he was ethereal, but I guess that's.
Yeah, I think that's the invisible effect.
Interesting.
Wait, it said he got cave drakes. Those cave drakes don't survive, though.
Are you sure about that?
I am pretty damn sure.
Okay.
But I mean, we'll be able to tell next turn. Yeah.
And I guess he's just protecting his fort there, which is interesting. On the
Oh,
other
right here?
province,
Yeah.
because unless he's, about to break his nap with Michelin,
Right.
I guess I don't know what else he would be doing there.
Yeah, we were thinking he should attack this province, so we'll see what happens.
Maybe he's recruiting Indies to play landscape.
No sign of that yet, but he doesn't have a ton. I mean, he can expand in this direction, but where he's got his armies down here, there's not much to expand to except this.
He's already expanded a decent amount to the east.
Yeah.
Joman has cut him off to the north, and Michelin has already pushed to the border in the south. So it's really the west is looking the most promising, but now that mountain range is not very kind to him. So I'm thinking most of that's going to get gobbled up by Batala.
Yeah. And, I mean, he's going to be a little small, but if he gets these two farms, it's a playable position.
71 income on the one? That seems a little odd. There's unrest there.
Oh, yeah. It's probably a site, yeah. So okay.
Not great.
Coming down to Michelin, he has expanded over here, taking out some Jaguar tribe. This is a funny little test case because we've got a lot of slingers here, which he might run into later.
Yeah. Slingers versus slingers. He brought a lot of slingers as well. And
who would know this is late age with this much?
Slingers with shields fight slingers with shields.
Yeah.
Nobody wins. Because nothing happens.
Okay.
But the Jaguar Warriors did perfectly fine.
Yep, no casualties. I don't think any of them even went into...
Has he begun recruiting Rain Warriors? That should give us an indication.
Nope.
Beast Bats. So we have Blood. Is that Blood 2 or 3?
Blood 2, I think.
Yes. Okay.
So he's got a few good expansions queued up. He's probably going to combine Cap armies with this to come take this. Probably take this army to come... Oh, he doesn't want to go in Olm's Cap Circle, but he can take this full line.
You can move northeast to the Joman move there.
Yeah, just dick punch Olm.
Yeah, it's not in the Cap Circle. Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's fair game.
It's fair game. It is. I mean, Joman hasn't been attacked yet. I'm going to be really interested to see. And he's got forts up. So that's the critical thing is once you get your forts up, especially if you start slamming troops in those forts.
I mean, it's a very good spot for a fort, too.
Yeah.
Right? That is a hard choke point to get through if there's a fort in the way.
Right. That being said, a huge pile of Jags is going to disrespect PD. So.
That's true. Yep. Especially with a blast like that.
Yep.
With that, if you have many archers shooting at few Jags, they're going to make a lot of progress. But if you have many archers shooting at many Jags,
yeah,
it's not as good.
Not as good. Okay, so we've done that column now. Coming over, let's look at Ulm. Oh, God.
Oh, no. What is...
Expansion with late age Ulm is not trivial. I just want to put that out there. It's not an easy... It's a kind of technical expansion.
I'm wondering how his infantry... Oh, they just routed.
This is the same problem. I'm sure they got repelled a ton.
Oh, he's got the hammer guy? No,
the Morningstar repelled.
Yeah.
It's
they just get harassed down too, right? Because they're outnumbered.
Yeah, well, it's not even as much they're outnumbered. It's when you take Morningstars have a defense penalty. On top of a unit that doesn't have great defense anyway. I don't know. This would be really interesting.
It should be 12, right?
Well, let's watch this again.
The shield parry is so high.
Maybe we should ping, between this and the next episode, we should ping Loggy or somebody and see if Repel takes into account shield parry. Because without the shield parry, these guys are at -7 at 5 defense.
Yeah.
We can probably tell.
Should be able to. And they have length 1, which is...
All right, light infantry. Okay, yeah. Ulm's attack with Morningstar.
22 versus defense 25. That seems to be...
Defense value 13.
That can be a 12. if you see something below 12, unless it's harassment, 20, 23. I think it's including the shield, if I'm being honest.
15,
Otherwise, there's some
15.
very high rolls, right?
Yeah.
Repel value
13. Yeah, we haven't seen below 12.
Yeah, which you would expect to definitely see if you were starting from a base of 5.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So it does look to be including the shields. So it's not that bad. Yeah. So that's interesting. So this actually is not as bad as I would have thought. It's like, it's not at the Abyssia expansion we saw last episode, where they really were actually at 5 defense.
Now know that they should have been bringing some shields with them.
Right. Right. Which actually makes some sense. You would think if you're like trying to get past the spear to like get into melee, a shield should help some.
The shield should help countering repels.
Yeah. Okay, but they still lose.
Yep. There's too many light infantry, I guess.
The other thing too, like on one hand, this is a good army comp because these guys are going to be very resistant to the crossbow bolts. Whereas if you were to get like Zweihanders or something, they get torn apart by your own rangers. But the thing is, like, look how little the rangers did this fight. They got 1 kill. And you really need like a critical mass of rangers. And so it's really hard to mix rangers with other units you're producing at the beginning of the game for expansion. By the time you get your first armies that are going to roll into player armies, you can balance this out better. But
what were they shooting at anyway? I think they killed the priest, unless the priest ran up and died, which is possible.
Oh yeah, they're shooting back here. I think at the crossbows.
Yeah, if they were shooting at the crossbows the whole time and they got only the priest, that's pretty unlucky.
I mean, they've done some damage. Like they made a commander run, but
yeah, not enough.
And I mean, maybe Fire Closest would have won this, but I don't know. Fire Closest would have been better than shooting at crossbows, but because really you want to route as much as you can. You want to route 1 squad at a time rather than trying to route 2 squads at the same time.
Can't help but feel like once Ulm gets one well-sized. Oh, there's Black Templars now. Maybe that'll help on attack rear.
Yeah, I mean, Black Templars are great. A great option for expanding.
Have you seen a bless yet from Ulm?
I don't think so.
We don't know if they have something that could help them.
Yeah, I think with Ulm, if you do, like, if you don't want to, in my ranking of expansions, the best way I think is still wolves and crossbows. But in a pretty close second to that, I think it's Black Templar expansion.
Yeah, heavy cav, sacred heavy cav.
Yeah,
is usually pretty reliable.
Right? And I'm talking without a bless. I'm talking just Black Templar, no bless. You start putting a bless on them, like invulnerability and blood surge and stuff, and they start getting pretty good.
Yeah. Hard for indies to deal with them.
Right, and your Hawk Masters, I believe, are Holy Ones, so they can lead them. But
and they have pretty good melee stats. So it's kind of like Paladins for middle-age Marignan, but they're even stronger. Right?
Yeah. So coming down. So, but yeah, okay. So, like on one hand, Ulm's in a lot of trouble because they failed some expansions recently. On the other hand, they've at least set 1 decent border with Falegra.
Right. Except they can't get back home because it's too cold.
Right, but they can take out these crossbows and heavy cav potentially,
which they ping, so they know that that's there. So.
And they've got the Bakemono. So the Bakemono can probably cross the mountain. They have mountain survival, right?
Yeah. Yep, and he can make mountain survival commanders if he can make the troops. So.
Okay, so that's Ulm. Abyssia, which I think is probably struggling maybe the most.
Yeah, I think we maybe need to redefine our column of sadness. To this one. Fanaticism, excuse me. He has a Holy 4.
Oh, my goodness.
He recruited the Holy 3 and then made it the Prophet.
Nice. So
that's a lot of heavy infantry.
Yeah, and his troops kind of got all split up. Now, they're not getting repelled here, And these actually are a pretty good matchup against heavy infantry because they're going to get the extra attack versus the shield. Like, this is what this guy is made for. This guy is made for fucking up heavy infantry.
It does help when they don't have to eat a lance charge and then fight 3 times as many people. Though.
Right. And one of the things, like in the very first couple episodes of this, Abyssia had really good formations for expansion, like they were all hitting at the same time. That does not happen here. They really get just split to hell.
Some of them are clearly afflicted.
Yeah.
And then there's not enough cavalry to have a good line of engagement.
Right.
Where the people in the center get stuck and the people on the flanks keep running.
Yeah.
So where...
This was really
just showing where the cavalry started, because he might have been on attack closest, and the cavalry just weren't the closest squad. Yep.
Yeah,
probably. So they're probably going for the infantry, but the cavalry intercept them.
Yeah.
So that's unlucky. There's like 5 guys with afflictions there, maybe 4, that are going to screw up.
Holding attack would help with a lot of these problems, you know? But yeah, he brought the right stuff. Like, this army comp he brought should have been able to kill it just purely like a formation and a luck thing. Like,
issue.
Yeah.
He probably should have had better smites. I don't know how many he killed with the smite.
Well, it's Word of Stone too, which is the worst smite.
We saw a scout get 6 kills earlier. I don't know.
Well, Word of Stone's bad because if you accidentally give somebody 20 protection, it feels pretty bad.
That's true, but I don't think it mattered here.
No.
He does accidentally give somebody 20, but I don't think it mattered. I think it was already over by that point. And did we see an assassin expansion? No. He's going to try it with Guardians of the Pyre, it looks like, though.
Right. Oh, I don't remember what his bless was. Let's take a look. Reinvigoration 2. What could that be? Because you can't even buy just Reinvigoration 2. There's some dormant component.
Have a lot more on there, I'm assuming. Because if we look at the scales, unless those are perfect scales, there should be a lot more.
Oh, wait, wasn't he running around with the Great Sage? Wait, Richard Nixon. Maybe there was somebody else. It might have been somebody else.
If he was running around with a Great Sage, then the curse of the...
Yeah, he's got the best names. He's got President Gerald Ford as his pretender, and his prophet is pardoning Richard Nixon.
Yeah, there you go.
I love that. He'll remember. Okay, Lemuria coming down has got his first fort up. Damien
built the temple.
Built the temple.
Makes me happy.
He's expanded here. He's got some more ghosts. Took pretty minimal losses. He's got a standard bearer. Get some extra
morale. Never hurt anybody.
Well, some fear is what they give.
Really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. These are
little
fear wagons.
Wasn't behind all of his own troops then.
Actually, I think you can get I forget exactly how the fear aura spreads.
2 aura is like needs to be an impractically high value of fear.
Okay.
If I am not mistaken.
Okay. But you don't want them dying, and they tend to die a lot. So I don't know. I see them at the back. I'm like, that's safe. But I guess they're not doing anything either back there.
Well, one expansion for this column is better than 0.
That's correct. And he's still got plenty of great flags around him to go expand into. So he hasn't been... I mean...
Shockingly, nobody has been rushing to take the land adjacent to Lemuria.
Right. Like, this would be great for Calum to take.
That's true. Before the Dominion spread.
Yeah.
And arguably among the best matchups for anybody against Lemuria in this lineup.
Yep, certainly. Okay, so...
missing almost all of the other nations, I would say, would be really strong matchups.
Yeah. You mean Lemuria would be good at fighting the other nations near him?
Well, I mean, I would expect like an Atlantis or a Vadheim or, I don't know, even Araga to be a pretty good matchup into Lemuria because they all have magic weapons, right?
Right, but they're not in this game, so
they're not in the game.
Right.
So Caelim's about the only one who has enough magic weapons to just ignore the fact that there's a bunch of ghosts.
Right. Okay. Coming down, we've done Lemuria, one expansion. We've done Ulm.
Yeah. Of the three, I think the person who can handle being a little bit behind the best is probably the Lemuria.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Because once they get both of those forts out and upgraded, they're going to start outscaling their other neighbors who didn't do so well, I think. So
maybe. I mean, these are really slow fort timings, so we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I just think they'll be able to grab the extra provinces faster than the others.
Yeah. I mean,
but we'll have to see. I think both Abyssia and Ulm have been making changes to what they're recruiting to try and address the fact that they're behind.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how well that does for them.
Absolutely. Coming over to Caelum. Oh, goodness. So he slams into this heavy cav province with the big pile of mammoths.
Yeah. And there's a magma child.
A magma child. This is from an item, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So he could be picking this up. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, lance charge. Takes down 2 elephants.
When your infantry and your mammoths are not attacking the same thing.
Right.
There's nothing to eat the lance charge.
Right.
And if you know there's heavy cav, which you should, even just like 5 guys on attack cavalry can save those mammoths.
Which is a great value because these mammoths are worth 12 of these dudes. So sacrificing 5 for lance charge is pretty easy math.
And he still has not connected to the farm.
Yeah, I mean, this is so common, and I've done it too, just being irrationally scared of crystal Amazons. So
now what you should be scared about fighting crystal Amazons when it happens is if all of your guys have the same MR and they cast Mind Burn.
Yeah.
They're going to target the guy with 1 more HP, which is usually the commander.
Yeah.
I've had that happen.
I've had that happen too. So, but with flyers, it's less of a thing.
Yeah,
but
when you have mammoths, it's not usually an issue.
Right. So okay, Caelum's starting to expand more. Only 1 expansion, but steadily climbing upwards. He's got some big armies.
Yeah, he can do 2 next turn. I believe in him.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly,
he's making the iron crafters. We can actually see that now.
Oh yeah,
he's got a good number of them. So his production 1 shouldn't be holding him back too much.
Right. And with honestly, with Caelum taking a break, like a slow pump on expansion a little bit can be okay. Because you don't want to be throwing away small squads of birds. You want your birds to be striking in critical mass. So
once you have a pretty good squad, you can just, if somebody puts up a palisade or something, you can jump on it 1 turn, crack it, and you're caught right back up.
Yep. So that's Caelum coming down to Falegra. I want to see where all these sites he found were. Okay, so he found some sites here: Canyon of the Wind,
very good,
and a magma cave, Poggers.
Yep, all useful gem paths for him as well.
Yeah. Drakon expanding down here. Oh, so Drakon clears out some Endies, and then Satis comes in.
Yep, some other guys came in with a weird flag he hadn't seen before, and he just killed them too.
Ooh, a Sauromancer.
Oh, with a Sauromancer. And is that on skeleton support?
Power of the Grave. So he's using the Priest Path right now, and then Animate Skeleton.
Okay, I'm not sure necessarily if I would be using a 285 gold mage.
I think he's probably site searching with it, maybe.
I would imagine.
Oh, this guy's getting a little fucked up.
Yeah, all of the skeletons aren't going to care about the poison breath, although he just has too many attacks. But the chariots, if you actually look at them, they're not too bad in melee.
They're amazing in melee. They are very kill units. Yeah. They just are kind of fragile.
The only issue is the 7 HP, right?
Yeah.
And they don't heal. So it is what it is.
But they will light shit up with that Falcon.
Attacks, 12 attacks. Very solid.
Yeah. So okay, that's unfortunate that he lost this bump, but
I think we can say the Sisyphus would have won. There wasn't very much in there when the Draken moved in, right?
oh, for sure, yeah, he would have.
Yeah. He probably bounced off of that, or somebody did earlier, because I can't imagine there would actually only be like 3 troops.
Maybe I can't remember. Was that the only Phlegra expansion? I think so.
I think so. Although Phlegra is looking like they're going to expand a second time next turn. They have that army out by the capital. So they should be able to get another 2 next
Yeah,
turn,
and this is Phlegra's Dominion too, so he's going to be coming in here with Regin.
They're looking pretty solid. They're in 2nd place in land, I believe.
Yeah.
Which just goes to show you, people are maybe underrating a little bit the utility of Awake Expanders in especially new player games.
Yeah.
Because we have 2 Awake monsters here, and if we're looking at who is in positions 1 and 2 for both land and income, I think we're looking at the Joman and Phlegra players, right?
Yeah, that's a good point, Rob. And a lot of times I very rarely play with expanders. And when I've done it one time, maybe in the past 2 years. No, I did it with the own game. Well, okay. I did it with some of like the crazy modded expanders, pretenders, right? So in both the Bosmod games where they're modded to be really good.
I can see that, definitely.
But in vanilla, I've only taken it once, and it was actually with late age Phlegra. But I normally don't take it, but I think it's important. Failing to expand well it's extremely hard to win a game. So if you're not very confident you can expand well, which is a reasonably thing to not be confident about when you're a new player, like taking an expander is kind of a no-brainer, you know?
Yeah, I think for both Joman and Phlegra, an Awake expander is maybe not required, but definitely an additional consideration to take. You know, because they both struggle a little bit early sometimes. It helps both get off the ground to the point where they can really start to hit their power spike. And make sure that Phlegra gets to the point where if they want to use their Lystragonians, they can. So I think it makes sense for both nations that took it as well.
Yeah.
And then in case anybody's curious, I would almost always suggest using the Earth Snake on Joman. I just think it's the strongest start possible for them, which puts them, and Raijin, which is the main mid-late game consideration for a bless, simply don't need anything, which is why you can feel free to take it. And of course, Phlegra has almost nothing that needs a bless as well.
Right. I personally, so I played Phlegra with the expander, and it was because it was a blitz. But I'm pretty good at technical scales expansion. Like just not to toot my own horn, but like it's something I am pretty good at. If I wasn't confident, I wouldn't take it. But if I were to play late age Phlegra in a game, I would actually play them full scales or close to it. I would get something on my god, but I wouldn't get an expander.
I played against the Phlegra actually that went mostly full scales. Made good use of the Cyclops Warriors, actually. Which they have a few weaknesses, but they're actually very respectable.
Yeah, they're really good. And I mean, for expansion, you get the Mouflon. These are the best, I think, for expanding. But these guys are beastly to mix into armies. Like, they are so strong.
Piercing magic damage?
Yeah. Hello.
19 protection and 50 HP?
Yeah. And then also, these guys, slave crossbows. Hello.
Yeah, the only issue is getting the resources in that you need for those guys.
Well, yeah. But I mean, by the time you're in the mid-game, you're in...
It's just they're so cheap on both the gold and the recruitment that you always run out of resources.
And these guys have resource bonus.
That's what you spam early, right?
That's what you spam early.
Just to make sure that
you end up getting enough of these guys in your capital so that you become, no matter what your scales, you'll become recruitment point constrained, and then you start sending these guys to your other forts.
They can do light thugging. They're good for forging. They're semi-efficient researchers for the command power.
But point being, doing that and having good scales, like you can have some pretty phenomenal troop production. of troops that, quite frankly, do not suck. These guys, these are amazing troops.
The
like 30 gold heavy cav is amazing, and it's like, oh, by the way, we put a slave tag on there, half upkeep.
Yep, and
headbutt instead of the hoof.
Supplies.
Right.
There's supply bonus 3.
Right. These are just, and there's a heavy lance charge too. Yes, so it's
and I think their speed is on par with other heavy cav, maybe slightly slower, but not by much.
You will find they don't expand as well as like Malia Druzina.
Yes, they're a little lower on stats,
right,
too, than some of the other 18 prot heavy cav, especially.
Like they expand surprisingly poorly, but they do much better in armies because the upkeep's lower. They take protection buffs really well. In an army, you can cater to their low morale and give them like a taskmaster that's going to get their morale super high.
Yeah, and then the lance charge, of course.
Yeah,
a pretty big payoff.
So,
all right, well,
there's a detour. Satis.
Well, they would have gotten 2, and they did use their
assassin expansion
skeletons. So
yeah,
animate skeletons is pretty much all you need for assassin expansion on Satis.
Right. So no battles, right? Or did I miss some? Oh, well, they had this failed one.
They would have gotten that.
Yeah.
They unfortunately met a very angry lizard thing.
Right.
And it did not go well for them. Poison Slingers. That is interesting.
Dude, Poison Slingers are good. He was doing some kind of interesting things with them. Yeah.
To be honest.
They're really good.
So much poison damage.
That is ridiculous how much damage they do.
Yes, and when you are the only Satis that can't cast Foul Vapors, even if you want to, it is maybe a little bit better to have an additional source of poison damage.
You know, it would be kind of funny. I've never even heard anybody talk about doing this, but it's just occurring to me now. Because normally what you'll do is you'll take like Tomb... If you take a Bless, you'll take Tomb Guard and you'll stack like natural protection on them.
Yeah, because they already have 7.
Right. And it's like, great, and they have 6 points. It would actually be really interesting to play them where you put the natural protection, but you also add into it like
poison resistance?
10 poison resistance.
Yeah, and then they just stand there.
They just stand there while the slingers are... How many? I think they have, 12 ammo. 12 ammo is so much death and destruction.
Lingering 2.
Yeah.
5 armor negating.
This is so much death and destruction.
Better. It's only 15 range, but it's like... I think Poison Cloud is the same thing, but it's Lingering 1.
Yeah.
So that's really strong poison damage.
Yeah. And in late age, you have a ton of Scales troops. So it's...
Yeah, and you can just make a ton of Long Dead, right?
Yeah.
And Long Dead don't care at all.
Right. So, but yeah, okay. So just wanted, failed expansion because of the Draken, and then coming down here, we had the Assassin expansion. They're making Falchineers and Tomb Chariots in the cap. Great Sage continuing to research. Let's see, anything else? I think that's it for Satis. Kalem we've covered.
Real quick, did you want to let Dark Wolf in, or do you want to keep the angsty teenager out?
Well, right now we're doing, this is only people, the only casters are people who were in the original game.
I'm wondering how he can see the channel. Then.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But we might let him in later or something, but let's keep going.
Okay.
Bogarus.
He got another province without taking any casualties. So it's working for him now.
Wait, did we cover this? Because I remember the ink pot end.
Like we did.
We did.
We had to have.
Yeah, we're at the time limit too.
Another army, right? I think that means we're done.
We're done.
What about Kalem? Did we get Kalem? Yes, we did.
We did. Okay, Rob, closing thoughts?
I look forward to seeing what Michelin and German do, since it seems like that's the first place we could look for player conflict.
Right.
I'm hoping that some of these other people who have been struggling with expansion can recover a bit and, get back into the game and make it an interesting experience. That's one thing that, newer player games are good at. You don't know how expansion's going to go for like an extra 5 turns. So, it keeps the suspense there, Lucid.
Yeah, and if there's more opportunity for one guy to get super big, there's also a lot of opportunity for everybody to realize that and come knife him. Like oh, 4 of us failed expansion, but you took all of the land. It's like, okay, well, I think we all know our war target. So
there you go.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see how it shakes out. If Joman does get coalition, how will they handle that? That'll be interesting to see.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Rav.
Yeah.
All right.
It was good to be here.
And thank you all for watching. Take care.